This is the first video in your Writing a Waltz assessment task series. This first one doesn't tell you how to do the piece, but it just explains some of the things that you need to understand. So the first thing we need to talk about is cadences. You've had quite a lot of sheets about this, and you've had some questions about this, and some of you have got it and some of you haven't. So I'm just making you this video to show you what it means in practice. Okay, so a cadence is just two chords, one after the other, like this. One chord and another chord. Or I can put them in the opposite order and I can get this first chord and then this chord. Now which chords those are going to be is going to depend on what key we're in, but for this piece we're working entirely in C major. So the home chord will always be C, which is this one. Which means if I want to come to a full stop, I want a kind of a really definite ending on my piece, I'm going to end on that C chord. And usually I'm going to go from a G chord to a C chord, chord 5 to chord 1. I call it chord 5 because if I count up from C, C, D, E, F, G, the fifth note I get to is G. So I get chord 5 to chord 1. And that sounds like a full stop. It sounds like it wants to end. If I want my phrase instead to have more of a feeling that it wants to carry on, so it's a comma, I might take a breath, but I'm going to carry on. I just put the chords in the opposite order. So I'd have my C chord moving to a G chord. Now obviously, in most pieces I'm not going to hear just a chord and then another chord. I might hear them in a pattern like this. Or I might hear it more like this. Okay, but we are going to be writing a waltz. And an awful lot of waltzes have an accompaniment pattern that sounds like this. It goes. So it's like boom, ching, ching, boom, ching, ching. Okay, so up at the top here, this is a chord sequence that I've created. It's not the one we're going to be working with, it's just one to show you these things today. And this one, we can see ends with G and C, so it ends with a perfect cadence. So it's going to end like that's a whole piece. Have a listen to my little piece. So that piece there sounded, it had a little tune over a waltz accompaniment, but it sounded like it finished. If I play it now with slightly different chords at the end, you should hear how it wants to carry on. And I could go straight back in and put the other one on the end. And then I get my perfect cadence at the end there. So that's just an explanation of those two cadences. If we look at the sheet you're going to look at in the next video, here it tells you on each line whether you're going to end with a perfect cadence or an imperfect cadence. So that's something to look out for when we get to that.